And here we are, starting out with Countervailing Wins. Interesting. 2 and a blue for an instant at common. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1 for each card in your graveyard. Huh. And it has cycling for 2. So, what do we think?
You and I were talking about this yesterday, and what's the other one that's similar to this? Censor? The problem I found with Censor, that's the one where it counters unless they pay 1.
Unless they pay 1.
Yeah. And my problem with Censor always was that if you get it later game, it just doesn't do as much because a lot of times they're not tapping out to play their creatures.
And even cycling wasn't what you wanted to do at that point.
Yeah, but for me, this gives it a little bit more late game feel, because by the time you get to the later game, you've probably got, especially if you're in blue, you've got a bunch of stuff in the bin, and it's going to make it much, much easier for them, or much, much more difficult for them to pay the cost. And if you get it early, you can cycle it. So yeah, I kind of like it better than the Censor.
That's the funny thing, is that Censor you want early, but this is more like a straight-up counterspell, but it's useless on turns, 3, 4, and 5, because there's nothing in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So the later you go before you cast it, the better, and you want to cycle it in the earlier game. I think I like this. I think it's going to be strong. But you have to pick your deck, you have to pick your moment, because, once people have an empty hand, you're going to be holding this up while your opponent is drawing you don't know what, and then do you really want to counter their 2-drop that they just top-decked? I don't know. Probably
not, but then again, you still have the option to cycle it. You'll probably have the mana to cycle and play whatever you draw.
That's true.
So
I'm going to pick these up late. Probably late in pack 2. I don't find it really exciting, but I think there's definitely a place.
Yeah, I think if I'm going to play that blue deck that I've been playing recently-ish, with a little bit of counter, a little bit of control, I will play one of these for later game and hope to get, we'll see if there's a counter spell for earlier game. So, yeah, it's interesting. I like that they're kind of twisting things around a little bit.
All right, Imaginary Threats. 2 blue for an instant at uncommon. Creatures target opponent controls attack this turn if able. During that player's next untap step, creatures he or she controls don't untap. And it cycles for 2. So, weird. This is something that blue has done before, taunting your opponent's board into attacking. But is that really good for you?
I don't know. I think this is in a deck that you need to... This is a thinky card. You need to be building your deck almost around, but I don't think necessarily completely around. But,
yeah. It's funny, in a set with the Afflict mechanic, you think about using this spell when you have a wall of, blockers. Just block all their creatures, and then hopefully get some benefit. But also, if you're playing walls, then you're not playing things that attack well. And in this set, if you're blocking the damage, then you might still be taking some damage. So I don't really like this card. I think this is possibly a constructed card, but I don't think it's going to do much in limited.
I think the places in which it's going to do stuff is very... Oh, look, I suddenly have this strange board state. Hey, that card might work.
Yeah, it's going to help to break up board stalls.
But I don't really want to hope that my deck is doing that to me. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to play it.
Help you make advantageous blocks, too, but at 4 mana, it's just, I'd prefer something else. I don't think I'm going to play this.
Yeah.
Jace's Defeat. We're here at the second of the defeats. 1 and a blue for an uncommon instant. Counter target blue spell. If it was a Jace Planeswalker spell, then you're very happy. I mean, you scry too.
This is sideboard.
Absolutely. It's sideboard, and not even very good sideboard. I mean, if you come up against the mirror match, then you're both going to be sideboarding these in against each other.
Sure.
But countering a blue spell is even more narrow than destroying an attacking white creature.
Yep.
So It's sideboard, and it's not great sideboard at that.
It's not good. I don't think this is ever going to see play unlimited.
I think people are going to board them in, and they're going to be fine boarding them in, but I'm not going to take it highly.
No.
Not at all. All right, Riddle Form. Oh. Yeah, look at that Sphinx.
This one is interesting to me.
1 and a blue for an enchantment at uncommon. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may have Riddle Form become a 3/3 Sphinx creature with flying, in addition to its other types, until end of turn. Okay, so you've got a conditional 3/3 when you cast a non-creature spell. Well, how are you going to find all those non-creature spells? Oh, you can pay 2 and a blue and scry 1.
So my first thought with this this enchantment was, I wonder if there is a decent Spells Matters deck, because this would be really great in a low creature high instants and sorceries. We've already seen a couple of things that would benefit in that kind of deck.
Maybe. If this became a 4/4 or a 5/5, I would probably run it, but as it is, I don't really want to spend 3 mana just to scry 1. And then, how many non-creature spells am I going to have?
I don't know. For me, my second thought was, after, you know, doing the obligatory, is this good and limited, was, ooh, I want this in my Keranos deck.
Well, yeah. In your Keranos commander deck, it's great.
Oh, so good.
In limited, I honestly don't think this is going to see much play. Even in the spells deck, I prefer to have Enigma Drakes, you know?
Yeah, that makes me sad, because I really want this to be good. It's just so interesting, and
I just don't think it's playable. You know what? I'm going to be wrong, and it's going to be the cornerstone of the new spells deck, and it's going to be amazing. But until that happens, I'm just going to say it's unplayable.
I'd like to say that I'm going to try it out, because
you don't even like blue.
Well, I don't mind blue and flyers, but here's the thing. I think for me, all of this, oh, but it could be good in this, is just, for me, I love the thought exercise.
Oh, yeah.
I'm far too spiky to probably ever try to build these decks. But
well, we need to channel your spike nature here, because we're trying to give good limited advice.
Don't play this in limited.
All right, there we go. Strategic Planning, 1 and a blue for a sorcery at common. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Interesting. So this is like Anticipate, or I can't remember the other things that it's like. 2 mana, draw a card of your top 3, and then put the other 2 in the graveyard. Maybe pitching something with Embalm or not Flashback, Aftermath or Eternalize. Could be good. Could be good. I really like the art.
Oh, the men there planning. Guys,
men going into battle.
It's not going to help you.
Jace, why are you wearing that heavy cloak in the middle of the desert? Such a tool. I like this. I think you're going to want one in the blue decks. If you pick up a bunch of these and can find your Riddle Form, then maybe you play the Riddle Form and that's your whole game plan. I don't know.
Now, don't give people ideas.
This is more here for Constructed, but I think you could play one in Limited and be reasonably happy.
Yeah, I think so.
So, where would you pick it?
Late.
Late.
Yeah.
Fairly late. Supreme Will. I'm surprised that's not the name of a rare.
I love the art. It's really pretty.
2 and a blue for an instant at uncommon. Choose 1. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Or, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So those are both things that I like to do.
I like that you get to choose one.
And choosing one is great. I mean, this is a kind of a mana leak in that, you know, mana leak costs 2 and is counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. So paying 3 for a mana leak is not great, but being able to do something else when your mana leak becomes not good.
Your other mana here is option, giving you flexibility of choice. So I rather like this. And
how highly would you pick it?
Before I'd pick the other one that we just saw, I think.
Fair enough.
Probably, if I'm in blue, it's an uncommon, so I will probably grab the first one I see.
Yeah? And you'd play the first one?
Yeah, I think so.
Would you play more than one?
Depends what else I get. If I don't have any other controlling stuff and I need it, sure. But otherwise, probably not.
I would take and play the first one, but I wouldn't play more than that, and I wouldn't take it over anything that I would consider a solid threat. I don't think this is great, but it's probably playable.
I just like the choice that it does two different things that are both helpful. So
yeah. Tragic Lesson.
Oh.
2 and a blue for an instant at common. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless you return a land you control to its owner's hand. So there's Kefnet. He be dead.
Poor Kefnet.
Yeah, the gods are not having any better time than the planeswalkers just now.
Bad day all round.
The what was it I said in the knowledge pool? Amonkhet and the no good very bad day.
Yeah.
So drawing 2 cards is great. For 3 mana is okay, and then discarding 1 unless you return a land you control to its owner's hand. Well, most of the time I feel like you're going to return that land. You can. It's not an untapped land, so you can, tap 3 for this, and then bounce one of those lands to basically draw 2 cards. Seems fine.
For me, I look at it as, when do I want to play this? I want to play this when my hand is empty, or empty-ish, so a little bit later. So chances are bouncing a land to my hand isn't going to make a big difference anyway, and it might end up being the land I play for turn. So yeah, I think it's not too bad.
I find it interesting that this, which is Kefnet's death, facilitates Kefnet attacking in standard deck or something, because it's bouncing a land.
Yeah.
So it's filling your hand up. It's giving you 3 more cards, so hopefully you're at 7.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would definitely play the first one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pick it very highly, though.
No, it's at common, so you can get it if you need it.
All right, Unquenchable Thirst. Dude, you're not gonna do anything by drinking sand. 1 and a blue for an enchantment aura at common. Enchant creature. When Unquenchable Thirst enters the battlefield, if you control a desert or there is a desert card in your graveyard, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's during its controller's untap step period. So this is the blue version of that pacifism effect. We've seen it before in Crust, or I can't remember the one from Kaladesh, but this one's at 2 mana, which is very good. They're always better when they tap down the creature themselves, because when they don't, that gives your opponent option of when they want to tap that creature. Now, if you have a desert, I would play as many of these as I could get. So I would take this fairly highly and then look at getting deserts.
Yeah.
I would probably pick this highly. I think it's going to be good. What do you think?
For me, I think it's going to depend on what color I'm pairing. If I'm in red and I know I've got a bunch of really good removal, then whatever.
This isn't better than like actual removal.
Yeah, but if I'm needing removal, then I will probably grab this fairly highly, because it's not bad. I mean, all they need to do is bounce a creature or something, and if they are able to untap a creature, then they get to use it again.
That's true.
So, I don't know.
It is a little bit worse when you've got untap effects going on.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a later pickup if I need something to add to my removal suite.
Okay. Ha. Unsummon.
With brand new art.
Blue for an instant at common. Return target creature to its owner's hand. This is the classic tempo play. Unsummon has been around forever. I like it. I usually play 1 to 3 of these. It's a good tempo swing. It's not real removal, but they do have to, you know, cast whatever they are casting again. So it's great. Late game when they think they've stabilized, you bounce their big stabilizer and continue to get in. You know?
Yeah, this is an annoying card, and it's well priced at 1 blue.
Yeah, at a single blue.
Yeah.
Instant speed. You can also get a blocker out of the way, or you can, if they double block, you can bounce one of their things and kill their other thing.
And bear in mind, one of the strongest points of this card is that it doesn't say opponent. It says owner's hand. So if they have used their white to arrest one of your creatures, you can bounce that creature to your hand.
If they have laid claim to your creature, you can bounce it to your hand. Yeah, it's real good.
So,
I'm going to pick this high.
Yeah, me too.
All right, we're on to the rares. Fraying Sanity is 2 and a blue for an enchantment or a curse. At rare, enchant player. At the beginning of each end step, enchanted player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of cards put into that graveyard from anywhere this turn. Okay.
Are we looking at a the beginnings of a standard mill deck?
Possibly. We'll have to see what else there is for mill, because unpacking this, they mill as many as cards went to their graveyard. So, what if you put this on yourself and then cycled a bunch? Is there any reason to do that?
Other than decking yourself?
Well, we'll have to see if there's any way to pull everything out of graveyards or something like that, you know?
Sure. That being said, this can probably find some sort of constructed play.
Yeah, constructed is where I'm looking about it. In limited, this is unplayable.
Yeah, I can't see ever playing this.
If you kill one of their creatures, they mill 1. Whoop-de-doo. You know? If they play a single spell, they mill 1. If they play 3 spells in the turn, they mill 3. This is not going to do what you want it to do.
No.
I'm just not going to play it in limited.
No.
Hour of Eternity. X, blue, blue, blue for a sorcery. At rare. Exile X target creature cards from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. So this is kind of what I was thinking about pairing with that other rare we had, which pulls, you know, everything from your graveyard. But at 5 mana, you get 1 thing.
Yeah.
At 5 mana, 3 of which is blue, you get a 4/4. At 7 mana, 3 of which is blue, you get 2 4/4s.
That's not bad. If this format winds up being long and grindy, this card gets better the later it's played.
Yeah.
But it's...
This is like some weird commander card.
It looks like a bit much to ask in limited.
I don't think this is playable in limited either. So I think we're striking out 2 for 2 here for the blue rares. I want to play it. But yeah, no, I'm going to say unplayable. Kefnet's Last Word. 2 blue, blue for a sorcery. At rare, gain control of target artifact, creature, or enchantment. Lands you control don't untap during your next untap step. So this is the other cycle, just like Oketra's Last Mercy. Kefnet gets his last word. You exert your lands, but you get to gain control of anything on the battlefield for 4 mana. And if you're doing that late to steal their big thing, then maybe you have enough mana left up to counter their next thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is actually fairly decent.
Yeah, I think it's kind of neat. I think it's something you want. It fits into the 4 mana slot, but I think you want it in the 6.
I would be fairly happy casting it on 4, I think, if I was stealing something worthwhile.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, the later you go, the more versatility you have to steal something better. It's funny, because it's the mana cost of a clone. And it's kind of... It's more of a ray of command or whatever.
Yeah, I like the flexibility in that it's not just a creature. You can take their artifact.
Mm-hmm.
So if they lucked out and got that artifact from
Kaladesh? Amonkhet?
Wow, Amonkhet?
You mean the Pyramid of the Pantheon that lets them play free spells every turn?
No, I meant the other one that's way more annoying.
Oh, the tap a thing, or a thing can't attack or block or activate its abilities.
Enchantment, you could steal their enchantment that is enchanting your creature and not allowing it to do anything.
Well, that doesn't change the target, though. Oh, unless it's like a, No, that doesn't change the target of the enchantment.
So you just get to keep it on your side of the battlefield.
It's weird that it doesn't say Planeswalker. Steal a Planeswalker. I guess that would also be a little odd because Kefnet has already lost battles to Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
But I like it. I'm probably going to pick it and build around.
Yeah, it seems pretty neat.
It's not a great first pick, but I would first pick it. Or I would pick it highly if it was coming around.
Yeah.
Swarm Intelligence. 6 and a blue for an enchantment at rare. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So, 7 mana does literal nothing on its own. How many instants or sorceries are you going to have that you want to copy?
After 7 mana.
After 7 mana.
I pretty much said this is unplayable and limited, but it'll probably find a home in Commander somewhere.
Commander, even constructed. You could build a counterburn standard deck with this. Or Fevered Visions, was it? Red-blue thing. So, yeah, in limited, I don't think this is worth it. Boy, blue got some stanky rares.
Yeah. At least in the instances, the non-creature spells.
Non-creature spells, yeah. There were some better creatures. But that's it for blue. What do we think? Blue overall.
Yeah, I like the flyers.
You like the flyers, yeah.
I like the flyers.
I don't know. Blue looked like a utility color when we reviewed it in Amonkhet. It still looks like it's kind of the middle-of-the-road color here. Mm-hmm. It pairs well, but there wasn't any great card draw. There wasn't any great counter spells. It just seems sort of...
Meh.
Yeah. I mean, the flyers are good. Anyway, with that, we'll be going on to Reblack.